National parks. I have a story about Denali National Park in Alaska. I had a memorable year. My oldest brother worked for an airline and he could get $50 passes for standby flights anywhere the airline would go. And it was a boon for me. I had always wanted to travel. I had traveled a little, but it's very expensive, and of course getting somewhere is most of the cost, so I was able to go to Alaska. Well, Denali was a wonder. It's a place, it's almost prehistoric feeling. Of course, those kind of terms, when there's a place that's like, has an infinite life, that's kind of fitting. It's prehistoric, it's historic, it's everything. Well, I did a lot of hiking. It was wonderful. And it was strange because I didn't have a chance to do much research before I went on the trip. And I had heard the term land of the midnight sun, but the truth is I didn't realize that the time of year I was there, it was going to be sun the entire time. I would be out hiking 1 o'clock in the morning and have no idea what time it was. I didn't wear a watch. I would come home and come back to the hotel and be 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. I had no idea. I knew I was exhausted, but I was also very full of the experience. So the most profoundly unique experience that I had, we were warned when we were up there that it was rutting season, or maybe that's not the right term. Rutting would be no, that's not the right term. Well, that there were a lot of moose up there, and moose with new young, and to be very, very careful. So I was out. This wasn't at 2 o'clock in the morning. This was in the early morning. It was probably 6 or so in the morning, and I was out hiking, and I happened to get by a pretty good wall of brush, and as I passed it and turned to my right, maybe 20 feet away, was a massive moose and her young. I hadn't been particularly loud walking, but they knew I was coming around the corner, and it could have been one of those moments where something very sad could have happened for me. I'm not one to carry a weapon, and even if I had known that that was something that was going to happen, I wouldn't have carried a weapon either. But I just stood there looking at this beautiful sight, this mother and her child, and she mysteriously didn't charge like she normally would. I slowly, very, very slowly backed away, and the whole time it seemed like we were meeting eyes, which was probably true. And 50 feet away, I was able to turn around and walk kind of back out of sight. But that was an amazing event in a national park.